Here's a crime scene for you gym creatures. Some dude who has never done a single hip thrust in his life is walking around with glutes like two boulders. Meanwhile, his girlfriend does 45 minutes of glute work 3 times a week, and it's barely budging. What is going on here? This is one of the most frustrating things in all of the gym, and today I'm going to explain exactly why it happens. Because it's not fairness, it's not effort, it's biology and leverage, and once you understand it, you can hack it. I have spent a very long time studying which muscles grow, why they grow, and what makes them grow big. Let's just say I have a deeply personal interest in well-developed muscle tissue. You know how I am. So today, why men grow glutes practically by accident, why they still struggle with arms and shoulders, and most importantly, the exact blueprint to force glute growth on purpose. Whether you're a guy chasing symmetry or a girl trying to round it up, this is the episode. Let's kill the biggest myth first. People think glutes are some magic muscle that only responds to fancy activation exercises and resistance bands. Wrong. The glutes are just a muscle. They follow the exact same rules as your biceps. The difference is how often they get loaded. Fact number 1, and it's the big one. The gluteus maximus is the single largest muscle in the entire human body. It's massive. A big muscle has more room to grow than a small one. The potential is just physically larger. Compare that to your biceps, which are tiny. A small muscle with a small ceiling. So, when a guy adds mass, the glutes have this enormous canvas to fill in. Progress there is visible in a way it never is on a little arm muscle. Fact number 2. The glutes are worked constantly, every single day, whether you train them or not. Every time you stand up from a chair, climb stairs, walk uphill, sprint for a bus, that's hip extension. That's glutes firing. Now think about what a guy who lifts actually does in the gym. Squats, deadlifts, lunges. Every heavy leg movement is loading those glutes under serious tension, without him even trying to target them. He's growing his backside as a side effect. So the glutes get a double gift. They're the biggest muscle in your body, and they get hit with heavy loads constantly. High volume, high frequency, big canvas. Of course they grow easily. Fact number 3, and here's where testosterone enters the room. Men have far higher testosterone, which drives more muscle protein synthesis across the whole body. But it doesn't just make everything bigger equally. It stacks onto muscles that already get heavily recruited. So a guy's glutes are getting daily activation, heavy compound loading, and a hormonal environment that turns that stimulus into serious tissue. It's a perfect storm. It's almost unfair, but wait. If testosterone and heavy lifting make everything grow, why do guys still struggle with arms and shoulders? Great question, my beautiful muscle sacks. This is the other half of the mystery. It comes down to leverage and mechanical advantage. The glutes are powerful movers, acting over short, thick, favorable levers. They handle enormous loads well, which means you can pile tension onto them fast. Small muscles like the biceps and side delts work over long, awkward levers and fatigue quickly. You can't load them heavy without your whole body cheating. So, they get a fraction of the effective tension the glutes get from a single squat. There's also the daily use factor again. Nobody does hundreds of overhead presses walking around town, but everybody does thousands of steps. The muscles you use constantly are already conditioned to grow. The ones you rarely use need to be begged. So now the picture is complete for the guys. Glutes, big, used daily, heavily loaded, hormonally favored. Arms and shoulders, small, rarely loaded hard, poor leverage. The body grows what you actually challenge the most. Now, to my girls grinding away and still not seeing that shelf appear. This is where it gets important because your problem is almost never effort. It's usually the type of stimulus and the loading. Here's the truth that frees you. Women can absolutely build enormous glutes. In fact, women often have great glute building potential. But a lot of glute programs are all activation and burn, and almost no real progressive overload. A muscle that big does not grow from feeling a burn with a mini band. It grows from heavy, progressive, mechanical tension. The same thing that's building your boyfriend's glutes for free. You have to load them like he loads them. So let's build the blueprint. Principle 1. Pick a small number of heavy, hip-dominant movements and get strong at them. Hip thrusts, Romanian deadlifts, squats, split squats. These are your bread and butter. The barbell hip thrust deserves a special mention because it loads the glutes at the exact point where they're doing the most work. Full hip extension, fully shortened, under a heavy bar. It's the closest thing to a glute growth cheat code that exists. Principle 2, progressive overload, and I mean actually tracking it. More weight, more reps, or better range over the weeks. If your hip thrust hasn't gotten heavier in 3 months, your glutes have no reason to change. Principle 3, and this one is criminally underrated. Train the glutes through a full stretch. Movements that load the muscle in the lengthened position, deep squats, Romanian deadlifts with a real hip hinge, are incredibly powerful for growth. So build your glute training around 2 flavors. One movement that hammers the top, the squeeze, that's your hip thrust, and one that loads the deep stretch. That's your Romanian deadlift or a deep squat. Top and bottom, cover both. Principle 4, give them enough volume and enough frequency. Because the glutes recover so well and get daily use, they can usually handle being trained hard 2, sometimes 3 times a week. That frequency is exactly why the guys grow. Copy it. Principle 5, use a full range of motion and control the rep. All the way down into the stretch, all the way up into a hard squeeze. Half reps with an ego-heavy bar build half a backside. Full reps build the shelf. And principle 6, the one nobody wants to hear, you have to eat. Muscle is built tissue, and tissue needs raw material. Enough protein, enough total calories, or you're sending a growth signal with no bricks to build the wall. Quick reality check on time. Your boyfriend's glutes weren't built in a month either. He's been unknowingly training them with every step for years. Give your focused, progressive plan 6 months to a year, and the difference will be undeniable. Let me hand you the exact starting point. Twice a week, heavy hip thrusts for your top-end squeeze, and Romanian deadlifts for your stretch. Add walking lunges or a deep goblet squat as a third. Track the numbers, push them up, rep ranges. Live somewhere between 6 and 15 reps, taking most sets close to failure. Add weight when you hit the top of the range. That's it. Simple, brutal, effective, the way real growth always is. And guys, if your glutes are already huge but your arms are lagging, the fix is the mirror image of all this. Your small muscles need what your glutes get for free. Dedicated volume, direct isolation, and patient progressive overload. Stop relying on the compounds to grow your arms. So let's bring it home. Guys grow glutes easily because they're the biggest muscle, worked every day, loaded heavy, and hormonally boosted. Women can build them just as well by copying that recipe. Heavy, hip-dominant lifts, real progressive overload, full range through the stretch, good frequency, and enough food. It was never about some secret female disadvantage. It was about giving that giant muscle the same serious loading the guys give it by accident. Do that, and it will grow. It has no choice. That's just physiology. Now listen closely because this is the part that matters most. I just handed you the entire blueprint to build muscle that most people never crack. Your gains are safe because you're here, you're subscribed, you're inside my circle. I protect what's mine. But that gym buddy of yours who's been building beautiful, heavy, well-trained glutes and still hasn't subscribed, that's exactly the kind of muscle I go looking for at 3 a.m. The better trained it is, the more I want it, and full moons don't send warnings. So share this video with them, not just so they finally grow, but so they wake up with everything they built still attached. Subscribe, send it to your gym friends, and I'll see you next episode. Stay protected, Gains Gang.